The day you were born, you were destined to be imperfect. Now you did not choose it, you did not choose to be born, but something far more than a human brain could even think of comprehending did. Imperfect, right? Let's put it this way. Even when the air, this very air that binds life, all the possible life forms, or is life itself, should be perfect, right? Because one of the factors that makes anyone, you, me, alive, if it were to be imperfect, that won't make any sense, right? But when air moves, it creates disturbance. And disturbance of any form is imperfectness, be it relative or self-within. Now imagine this. It was a very hot day. The electricity was cut off, and it was very humid. The air didn't seem to move at all. Again, it was troublesome. Why wasn't the air moving? But then when you were about to lose it, just the right amount of air started moving, and you called it a breeze. And this imperfect disturbance made you just perfect for that moment. So disturbance led to pleasure. The sentence itself is so ironic, but it somehow made sense, right? And somehow every imperfect thing out there is making sense. A baby does not just get up and starts walking. He or she falls and will keep on falling throughout his imperfect attempts to make his journey perfect. The ways of he or she falls will change. Ways of falling will change. They'll fall in love, they'll fall for traps, and eventually fall. Even the ways of falling from a baby to an adult is imperfect because it changes the way of falling from physically to emotionally to mentally. And it somehow makes sense and adds up to something you call as life. Now I know the importance the word perfect holds. We've tried to define it since the beginning of everything you can possibly imagine. Most people refer to it as God, the perfect entity that planned everything for everyone. And it isn't out there, but it's still there. Its miracles are still there. The sun comes up, trees gives out oxygen and all the things that require you to live. But then you die eventually. That's imperfect too. Now here's the thing. When you die, you're nothing. You constitute to nothingness. Something which is not there. But still it's out there. How can you define nothingness? Let's say if an object is 1, what object is 0? You can't tell it, but it is still out there. Well, according to me, this nothingness that I talked about is just perfect. You aren't there, but you still are there. It's like when you sleep and you don't dream. Now, when you die, this imperfect energy that you had, what you call as life, where does it go? It finds a place in the cube of the Creator, and thus this imperfect planning of God made sense eventually. It all makes sense. Everything imperfect will make sense. Just keep playing along. I think being imperfect, if it doesn't harm anyone or anything, is just beautiful. And you're on the right imperfect way to eventually become perfect. So embrace that way. Just make sure it doesn't harm anyone physically or mentally.